to the archive area on our C drive. So we'll close that. So that's definitely one thing you should all have kind of done. File, it's backup and restore, and then backup Tradestation. So just as you would back up your very critical photos or your emails or anything like that, you want to do that, and you want to save that. Now the other thing you may want to do is just import your easy language, your ELDs, which are very important as well. So importing your ELDs, which are your strategy files, export them, I should say. Export them to a specific area. So just select what you want to export. It might be the GMT. Obviously, you're the GMT strategy. So go to strategy, and you can just pick out the GMT one. You can, and whatever strategy you want to import, and then you can save that to an area. You can save it to your Gmail. You want to probably save it to an offsite. So you don't want to have it on your computer, but you want to have it. The good thing about Gmail is that Gmail's got its own. If you do want to have somewhere where you can retrieve information if your computer crashes, great thing to do is set up a Gmail account, because that's all offline. It's not on your computer, not on your hard drive. So anything that happens, you can go straight to Gmail. Right, well, my computer's crashed. Mike sent me all of these ELDs. Now I've got nothing. Well, if they were sent to your Gmail account, they're all actually there. They haven't been affected by a computer crash at all. So it's a great way of kind of having your stuff off your main PC. The other thing you can do is just go down and buy a terabyte or just a storage and back up, if you don't want to have it on Gmail, to back it up to, say, for example, a portable hard drive. I think, James, you were talking about doing that, and that's a great idea. You want to probably once a week, just a very, very quick look at your emails to find out what's critical, and just save those to a because, as I said before, you want to have that information and you don't want to lose it, particularly if you've done a lot of work on setting up your strategies and setting up all the stuff that goes with the strategies. You want to be able to save that somewhere. As we go forward, last thing I want to do is just show you how to do the analysis group. So if you've got your strategy set up, as we have with the Trend Trader, there it is there, and we're happy with we've got our settings set up. So if we go to, remember, there's a strategy and an analysis technique. The analysis technique is the indicators. So they're all your indicators: the paint bar, the support resistance, the take profit, and the volume. The volume I've added in there is a secondary one. So we'll close that. Now if we want to save this group of indicators as an analysis strategy, we basically go save analysis group, and we call it the V2 Trend Trader, and we'll just save that analysis group to the V2 Trend Trader, and that, bang, we've got that saved. Now what we can do is, if we go to Google, so we'll jump over to Google and we go, right, well, I want to have a look at Google on a 15-minute, and I'll insert an analysis group. Hey, look at that, I've got the V2 Trend Trader. I'm going to insert that one. There it is, we've got Google on the Trend Trader. It's very easy, isn't it? So instead of the hard way of doing it, you just set up all your analysis groups. So whatever your favorite group of indicators is, or your favorite strategy is, whether it's the breakout, and you might have actually, what some people are doing is they're combining some indicators in, like what I've done. I do this all the time. I've put in volume in the Trend Trader. That's not actually part of it, but I've added it in there. And when you've got your favorite strategy group, you just can then put it on any chart you want. So it's a very easy, good shortcut to. So I'll just quickly do that again. So we go to where the strategy is. So the strategy is the crude oil Trend Trader, and we just save that. So we go File. Just check it first, because you don't want to have stuff on there that you don't want. So just check your... All I did, Nick, was okay, let's do that. Good question. Good question. Okay. Alright. Now, I added it, but it actually hasn't... It's not going to back test with volume. Not until Mike codes that up for us. So I've already got him working on that. Just constantly adding little bits and pieces as I do. So the way to add... So here's the normal trend trader. So we'll take off volume, so we'll get rid of that. That's how your trend trader chart will come. It'll come with support, resistance, paint bar, and take profit. So okay, so I wanted to actually have something a little bit more than that. I wanted to have the volume. So all I do is go right click and I go insert analysis technique. Because what can anybody tell me what the analysis techniques are? What's the one word that we all know that refers to our analysis techniques? What's the thing that they're commonly called in the trading community? Tradestation calls it analysis techniques, but it's referred to as... Every charting package definitely has about 300 analysis techniques. Indicators. So that's all they are. So what we do is we basically go, right, well, insert analysis technique, and we go to indicators, and you'll find the indicators there under the GMT. So there's a suite of indicators for GMT. There's plenty of them. So you'll see volume divergence. So that's the one we want. GMT volume divergence. You might want to put on the volume spike or the volume spike volume divergence. So you might want to add a couple of these, but I like the volume divergence, so I'm going to add that in. And that will then go in as part of those 3 indicators, so that'll make 4. So I've got 4. If I just pull this chart up on Google, I have no indicators on this chart. So the way I see that is I go right click, and you can see there's no indicators. Format analysis technique, there's none. If I go over to this chart, the 15 minute, I click on it, you can see I've got all of them on there. So that's a very quick way of seeing if you've got any. The other way of doing it is to go to enable analysis technique and see there's none. So the way I apply my if I go back to that chart that we just had up a minute ago, I go right click and I say, alright, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this analysis group, and I've got exactly, have I got everything I want in that analysis group? Paint bar, which gives me the cyan and the blue. Sorry, the cyan and the white. I've got support, resistance, take profit, volume, and trend. So I click on all of those, and I'll call that the GMT V2 trend. V2 trend trader, perfect. So it's already in there. Now I don't need to save it, so I've already got it in there, and then I just upload it to Google, and that will basically put all those indicators. If I want to add an indicator, I can. If I want to take one out, I can do that as well. So does that make sense? That's it's a really good way of just quickly setting up your charts, because once you've got your analysis group in, you can apply it to whatever market you want to trade, whether it's natural gas, crude oil, heating oil, Google. You might want to do it to Apple. So all of these great markets, and we can get a really good look at how they're doing in relation to our trend trader. So let's go to insert enable background dragging. So let's have a look at this. So you can see that not much data there on a 15 minute, because we haven't gone back far enough. So if we go insert analysis and we take this back a couple of months instead of a couple of days, so 10 months back, that'll give us a bit better a look at how that market's tracked. And we'll do that now. So again, that's just pending data. So if you do get a PD on you and you're wondering, well, why isn't this strategy working properly? It's because it's coming up with PD. Well, that means that it's got pending data in there. Now I want to go back to these bar charts because these charts are interesting to look at. Absolutely. Should we go through the drawing tools one more time, Dave? Do you want me to go through all the drawing tools? So just quickly, if you want to grab all the drawing tools, because I've got them listed all to the left hand side here. Basically, you go View, and you just go down to your toolbar, and you'll see that you've got Main, Tools, Chart, and Drawing. So if you want drawing, then you've just got to make sure it's ticked. At the moment, mine's not, so it's gone off. If I want it back, I just tick drawing, and away I go. Bang, I'm in. So one thing I want to show you too is this percentage change. I really like this indicator. It's quite good. So we'll go here, and we'll say, right, well, I want to just find out how much of a move. I'm using what we call the percentage change, or the price change. I want to find out the value from there to there. How many points was that? So I can draw a line on my chart at any time. Now drawing the line is good because you can measure the trend. You can see how far price moved. You can see how far price dropped, and you can mark the chart up really well. But that really is useless to you unless it's got any information on it. So the way you put information on it is you go Format Trend Line, and then we want to add probably some weight to it so you can customize it a bit, but you want to label it. So if we show the label, we'll go Format Trend Line. In the label area is what you want to do. So it says Make Transparent, Right Justify, Show Price Percentage Change, shows price net change, so we want to see price net change. We can do it as a bar count or a time span, so it can show time span as well. So that time span's 18 hours and it's negative 847. Really good way of tracking your trades when they go against you. Like if you want to work out what the average, not the average losing trade, but the maximum adverse excursion, so the distance which the trade moved against you when it entered. So for example, if we're looking at this chart of today's price action, so for those of you who because we're just learning about the price chart, the price bars, so we'll actually open this up a little bit and we'll change these to price bars. So we'll go Format Symbol, we're going to change them to price bars. So remember, we do that in Style, and we go Open, High, Low, Close bar. Okay, so that's giving us the open, high, low, close. So there we go. So we've got that set up, perfect. Now this trade triggers in here. You can see the the white candle, and if we put our crosshairs on there, and we've got crosshairs, got our large pointer, and we want our data window up as well. So it's always good to have your data window. So you go View Data Window, because that will at least give you all the data specific information for that candle or that price bar. So that price bar tells us that the low is 98.21. It's actually triggered into the trend, so it's showing a sell setup because we've got the white breakdown there. Now what we want to find out is the entry was 98.21. How far did the trade go against us before it got profitable? Because you can see, as I can, that trade actually made money. So, but how far? So, if we want to quickly find out how far it moved against us without having to calculate everything, we go Show Label, and we want the net change, and we want to know how long that trade basically took. And it says it was 4 hours and 20 minutes that it pushed the other way, and it moved by, we'll just quickly grab that, it moved by 54 points. So that's a really good way of tracking time and price, Because remember, when we're looking at the charts, time and price are critical. Time, we want to know how long we're in the trades for, because as far as what's one of the things that we underestimate as traders, as far as our return on our trading, it's the time that we put into it. And one of the things that we've been focusing on is